Brand slogans are often taken lightly by car buyers and motoring media alike. The rare few that dare to imbibe it will be well remembered. Such is the case for Kia and their power to surprise. For surprise they did by inviting a large group of motoring journalists to test drive their vehicles in distant yet scenic Batanes. Join us as we fly over to the country's northernmost islands for the Kia True North Drive and Ride in Batanes. Being some 162 kilometers north of the tip of Luzon, the journey to Batanes began with a flight. All the members of the media met up at NAIA Terminal 4 to board the plane headed for Batanes. Fortunately, I was among the lucky few invited. We now give you the first of many updates from this trip. This is the first stop of a 3-day saga. We're in Colombian Auto Car Corporation, the proud distributors of Kia vehicles in the country. Brings about 40 motoring journalists to Batanes for a test drive of their wide array of models available in the country today. In the meantime, we made use of the downtime to ask some of the participants about the upcoming trip.
It's the prospect of driving in an island that's not really known to be a driving destination. So it's you could call it a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity.
Well, I'm really excited because this is my first time to go to Batanes, and what's so nice about this is I get to drive several Kia vehicles, and we all know that the scenic views here is just magical, so I'm really excited.
It wasn't long before the boarding call sounded and we made our way to the Skyjet airplane, our air carrier for the trip. After a quick briefing, all were buckled up and ready to go. Time went by just like the flight, quick and smooth. And before long, we found ourselves in Basco, Batanes. It was a smooth 1 hour and 10-minute ride from Manila here to Batanes. We're now at the arrival area of Basco Airport. And on this side, you'll see the 40-some motoring journalists that are part of this, what I call Kia saga here in Batanes. After collecting our bags, we made our way to Fundación Pasita for a briefing of the coming day's activities. Before anything else, we sat down for some welcoming words from Kia's marketing manager, Mr. Boying Soriano.
Colombian Auto Car Corporation, I would like to welcome everybody to the Republic of Batanes.
The media would be grouped into 10 teams of 4 and be randomly assigned a Kia vehicle. We would then head to each of Batanes' sites to photograph the car with the island as the backdrop for a later exhibit. Members would also have to write a short essay about the island to accompany the photos. Despite the excitement, it would all have to wait for tomorrow. A special welcome dinner awaited the participants at the picturesque Basco Lighthouse. There, our group was welcomed by none other than Batanes Governor Gato. Some of Batanes' most exotic delicacies were on buffet, while a cultural dance gave the visitors more insight into the island's ways. With many of the media chowing down, we took the chance to have a few words with the governor. We are pleased to have with us the governor of Batanes, Governor Gato. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you very much for visiting our province, the northernmost province in the Philippines, and we have the less number of personnel here. As a matter of fact, we are like a barangay, a small barangay in Manila.
You have a very beautiful place here, and just like me, many from Metro Manila may not realize that this place is this grand. What are the measures that are being done to attract more, first of Filipinos to see this beautiful place, and then later on people from the other countries? What are the efforts that are being done to attract people to come here?
The efforts we are undertaking is, of course, to advertise our place, being the northernmost province in the Philippines. And as a matter of fact, we are about to be inscripted to the UNESCO International Organization. I was invited last October to Geneva, Switzerland, as one of the guests and speaker during that forum with about 70 governors all over the world. Hopefully, Batanes will be inscripted to this organization, and there will be more tourists to come. And I think tourism will be one of our income-generating activity.
After we had our meal, we couldn't help but ask some of the participants what they thought of Batanes so far.
So far, Batanes is a very, very beautiful place. The views, the pictures we took, everything we saw, it's incredible. It's hard to believe that we are still in the Philippines.
Very nice place, and this is one province na wala pa ako naririnig na negative, no. And I was also surprised in during our flight. I read the brochure of Batanes, and it's written there that there's zero crime rate.
Oh, it's a lovely place. The minute we saw the land from the air, all the greenery and all the natural stuff that we saw was very un-Philippine-like. So it's like you're being transformed to another country, another place.
With much of the media excited for the next day's activities, we thought it high time to interview one of the organizers of the event, photographer Mark Floro.
We have beautiful Batanes. We have awesome designs of the Kia. All I say is pray for sunlight. If we have light, the photographs will just be outstanding. We've been here since Thursday. It was raining. You guys brought in the sun. So if the sun just comes out, even if it peaks a little bit, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful.
With eyes and appetites satisfied, it was time to call it a day, for a whole day of sightseeing awaited early the next day. Up as early as the sun, many of the participants were already milling about in Fundacion. We took the opportunity to have a few words with Genia about the day's activities. I have here with me the very lovely president of Colombian Autocar, Ms. Gina Domingo. And first of all, let me say congratulations with this feat. Nobody thought this could be done, and you did it.
Of course. When people say that you cannot do it, the more you persist on trying to do it. And we're here. It's a wonderful, wonderful place to be here. Batanes.
I echo to that. Now, we have here the array of models of Kia you have. Can you give us an idea of what kind of models you brought along here to Batanes?
Okay, we have our whole fleet of vehicles from the Carnival. And then we have our very popular SUVs, the Sorento and the Sportage. We have the Rios, we have our 4-door and 5-door Rio, we have the Picanto, and we have the Optima Hybrid.
That was what I was praying for, and there was a draw of vehicles yesterday that I would get the Optima. But then with this lineup,
Not too bad.
there's no choice. I mean, everything is a good car, right?
Thank you for that. Yes, it is.
And really, I have to commend you for your choice of Batanes for an event like this. This has never been done, although I heard that some were thinking about it and they said it could not be done. And our hats off to Colombian Motors.
Thank you so much. The team really worked hard in having us, all of us here and enjoying the place.
Now, what do you expect to bring out of this event? Except, of course, for the motoring journalists, the 40 odd of motoring journalists to enjoy Batanes.
We basically want to bring our cars in a totally different setting. As you said, it's never been done, and that is always a plus. Plus, it's an opportunity to have a lot of our friends from the media. There are now 40 of our friends from the media who are here, who's going to do a drive and ride activity here in the island of Batanes. We have 10 cars, 10 Kia cars all in all, and there will be 4 people in a car. There are 10 pit stops, and we broke it down, 5 in the northern side of the island and another 5 in the southern part of the island. And then the activity is that each of the team should be able to make the pit stops, the 10 pit stops, and take very nice photograph of their Kia car together with a nice background setting in Batanes.
With all the participants up and about, it was time for a quick photo op before the crew headed out. From there, the game was afoot as teams made way to the cars and drove to the desired sites. A quick drive-away was the first of the 10 pit stops. Here, the teams would begin photographing their cars for the competition. This is the first pit stop of the Kia True North Motoring Journalist Contest. It is the Tukon Radar Station. In Ibatan, radar means lighthouse, and Tukon means hill. Located on a hilltop 2.75 kilometers away from Basco, the station used to be a United States weather facility that monitors thunderstorms and typhoons in the area. Today, it is considered as one of the must-see places in Batanes and is the only place where you can get a bird's eye view of Batan Island, the South China Sea, Mount Iraya, Basco proper, the Pacific Ocean, and other scenic views such as boulder-lined cliffs and vast skies. From the peak of a mountain, we made our way to the seashore. We are on pit stop number 2. This is Bulugan Shore and what is known as Boulder Beach, which offers another view of Mount Iraya. Known for its weathered rocks and pebbles, the Bulugan Boulder Beach is one of the most visited places in Batanes. The boulders in the beach lining are said to be andesite rocks that came from the volcanic eruption of Mount Iraya in 1454 and have been smoothened by strong waves over time. Like the rocks on Boulder Beach, the next stop was the smooth rolling hills overlooking the coast. This is lush greenery atop Batanes for our third pit stop. The Vayang Rolling Hills, also known as Vayang Ranch, gives off a breathtaking view of the open sea, a world of lush greeneries and cool winds that welcome you when you reach the top. Aside from that, you also get a glimpse of the Valugan's boulder-lined beach. The Vayang Rolling Hills is the perfect place for landscape and seascape viewing. Not far from it is the Basco Lighthouse, the venue the participants visited the night before. From pit stop number 4, one can see almost the entire of Batanes from this old sentinel. This is the Basco Lighthouse. Specifically located in Naldi Hills, Barangay San Antonio, it is considered not only as a working lighthouse, but as a tourist attraction as well. The Basco Lighthouse is one of the 3 lighthouses proposed by former Congressman Florencio Abad and stands as tall as a 6-story building with a spiral staircase that leads to a viewing deck situated on the 5th floor. Batan Island, Mount Iraya, Sabtang Island, and at Bayat Island can be clearly seen from the top. Next on the itinerary was Batanes' grandest church. Right behind me is Batanes' oldest national treasure. This is the Mahatao Church, and this is pit stop number 5. San Carlos Borromeo Church is considered to be the first church in Mahatao, founded in 1789. The first church was destroyed by a typhoon in 1872, and a year after that, a new church was built by Father Crescencio Polo, OP, exactly on the same site. It was modeled after the Basco Cathedral and is also one of the National Cultural Heritage Treasures of the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, or NCCA, because of its architectural structure and cultural significance. It is also one of the 26 churches in the Philippines that are recognized as cultural icons. The sightseeing was punctuated by a short break at Batang restaurant. Here the teams recharged their batteries with more of the island's delicacies. Naturally, we had a minute with a few of the participants.
The driving, even though you don't get to drive so fast, it was one of the best ever drives of my life. And the scenery is breathtaking. So many people say it's like time stop. I think it's different. Here it's neither here nor there. It's not exactly Philippines anymore. It doesn't feel like you're in the Philippines. It feels very different. It's cold. You're in the beach and it's really cold.
And it felt like we were driving along the coastline of San Francisco, Highway 1. It really reminds me of that, except this seems a bit more beautiful since it's like so virgin and it's just different with the palm trees and everything.
This is a place like if you plan once or twice a year trip, it's all worth it. It's so quiet and very peaceful, no traffic. So the pace is really slow. And then you have all these beautiful views of the sea and the mountains and the hills, and then the structures, the stone houses. It's always refreshing to see something different. And it's in the Philippines, it's not in another country.
In spite of the great company, we had to get a move on and see the second half of Batanes. Next on the list was yet another one of Batanes' many lighthouses. For seafarers, pit stop number 6 is a lifesaver. This is the Tahit Lighthouse. Despite being built only in the 2000s, this lonely noble structure guides boats along with the other Mahatao lighthouses towards safer paths. Not to be confused as the Mahatao Lighthouse, it works alongside other smaller lighthouses in the area, since some structures were built on the coastline, obstructing the lighthouse's view. Not far is another one of Batanes' rolling hills that doesn't disappoint. We don't have any intentions to violate the law against cigarette advertising, but pit stop number 7 is called Marlboro Hills. Marlboro Hills has a captivating view of lush greenery with cows grazing on the grass. The hilltop view gives you vast oceans, cool breeze, and continuous mountain ranges. Up next was a monolith sculpted by nature itself. A sculpture by the sea made naturally. This is how pit stop number 8 is described. This is the Alapat viewpoint. Along Itwood's lengthy and lonely road sits this magnificent rock formation made by the elements. It has long since been a tourist attraction, well known for its unique diagonal cut and great view of the sea. A short drive away is yet another one of Batanes' majestic churches. This is pit stop number 9. It's known as the Ivana Church. Built in 1784, it is the only church in Batanes with a separate campanile built by Father Jose Fausto de Cuevas. Not far from the church is another famed spot in Batanes known for its trademark way of doing business. Aside from the awesome sights that this tourist destination offers right now, here's another wonder that many consider, not only here in the Philippines but also from people from abroad who have gone here or have heard of it. It's known as the Honesty Store. This is the place where it's open, there are no doors, where you can get items that you like, from candies to whatever, and you just leave your payment. That's why it's called honesty. Nobody's there to charge you for what you got. It's all on your conscience. Pay for what you've got, and more often than not, you pay more than what you're supposed to pay for. After a quick purchase in the Honesty Store, we headed to our final stop, Batanes' oldest house. This is pit stop number 10. This is known as the House of Dakay, the oldest house in Batanes. It was built in 1887 by Luisa Estrella for her nephew Jose Dakay Estrella. We couldn't help but have a quick chat with one of the descendants of Dakay herself. Gaano katagal na po kayo dito?
Ay, mula noong 1935 na ako dito nakatira. Dahil hindi naman ako dito pinanganak eh. Ako lang mag-isa dito sa loob, pero mayroon ako isang anak na nakatira sa baba. Yan tagaluto ko pag mayroon akong ibibigay na iluluto na.
Ilang taon na po sila?
86 ko na.
Having seen much of what Batanes had to offer, it was time to head back to Fondacion for a dinner to cap the day. Competition was clearly on the mind of most, as they were busy going through the day's photos for the upcoming competition. With a hearty dinner, we proceeded to chat up some of the other teams on the day's activities.
I've been here, I think, at least 3 times before, shooting for different things, Sports Unlimited, for Sea Air and stuff. But this is the first time that I've actually been able to drive myself around the island, and it was wonderful. I mean, we lucked out. My team got Picanto, which really helped going through the really narrow streets, and of course, I mean, taking pictures in Batanes is every photographer's dream. You just need you close your eyes, put your hand out, and take a picture, and you know it's going to be stunning.
The experience I've just had with Kia today has been absolutely unforgettable. This is my first time in Batanes. I've always wanted to come here, and to be able to cover as much ground as we did in one day and see everything that we did, I mean, it's just, I can't ask for more. I mean, it's absolutely a great experience to be able to come to Batanes, and with great cars too.
I know a lot of attempts were made by some other local car manufacturers to stage this now I would say coup that you did. I know that is such a challenge, but you're still so driven. I'm sure you have still other things in your mind why you wanted to bring these 40 motoring journalists and 10 cars here to Batanes.
Well, we at KSA, we have the power to surprise. And when the challenge was posed on us about this event, knowing that a couple of car companies did the ocular, and after the ocular decided not to do it, I told my team, hey guys, nothing is impossible. What we did, we went through the paces, saw to it that everything was all covered. We were able to get the right shipping company that would handle the cars, which is actually the most crucial part of the puzzle. If it were not for that shipping company, there will be no event.
The trip was far from over, especially for intrepid adventurers. Awaiting the next day was a boat trip to Sabtang Island for willing travelers. From the port of Ivana, participants put on their flotation vests and boarded the boat to the other island. Waiting there were a few vehicles to take the group to the first of the many sites. Before anything else, a breakfast awaited participants at Nakabuang or White Beach. Not far from it was the Ahaw Arch, where a few took the chance to take some unique photos. Next up was the Chamanta Tinian viewpoint that featured rolling hills and beaches below. The best view was quite a hike away, but nothing too tedious for the group. On the way to Savidug was an ancient fort built by one of the warring tribes of Sabtang. It has been carved out of a hilltop some 3,000 years ago and still stands today. Savitug is a town that boasts of a cluster of stone houses. Many of them still made the traditional way, with coral and limestone walls and kugun grass roofs. Afterwards, the group made their way back to Ivana for the final photo op of the trip. Before heading for the airport, we opted for one last set of interviews with the Sabatang explorers.
It was a very interesting trip, and if you get the chance to come to Batanes, I would recommend you take the trip to Sabtang, because you see nature in all its wonderment, I guess.
I guess the best description is really it's Batanes, several decades back, so there's a lot less development. You have much more natural sites there, as well as a lot more of the traditional limestone houses built there with thatched roofs. So you have that, and of course you have grander rolling landscapes where you have cliffs meeting into the sea, and it's just a beautiful place, much more untouched than Basco, and Basco's pretty much untouched as it is. So just imagine that place where there's even a smaller population, much less people. Still definitely worth the short boat trip there to see the sights.
It is one of the most fantastic islands. We went into this mountainous area, and there's the cliff, and there's a small chasm that when you look into it, you see a beach, and you take a photo from up there. It's really fantastic.
Before departing Batanes, our host thought it best to leave a memento of our visit by one of the most heartfelt ways possible. Colombian Autocar thought to donate a small amount to the Ivana parish through the parish priest to help rehabilitate the altar. Members of the media were eager to chip in, raising some 30,000 in the process. With that, the group packed their bags and boarded the plane back to Manila. There couldn't be a better end to the most exotic and captivating destinations in the Philippines. That concludes our visit to the awe-inspiring islands of Batanes, made possible by Kia, a brand that certainly has the power to surprise again and again.